Well, welcome in everybody to another episode of Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about your favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. Chuck, Evan, how we doing tonight?
Are they my favorite team this week?
No,
Justin.
I'm trying to do one of these bits where I avoid talking about the Union for as long as possible. I asked how you're doing.
Oh, sure. I'm everything else great. If we're gonna put the one thing that we claim to talk about on this podcast to the side, doing great, doing great. How about yourself, Justin? I'll just throw it right back to you, and then we can. If you and I stall, then we get to Chuck. It'll be like 10 minutes in, and then we'll just keep delaying.
I'm doing fairly well. I can't complain this week. It is, things are looking up for the most part. I kind of have a headache right now, which is kind of how I feel about the thing we're podcasting about. But
hold on. We got to throw it really slow. We should talk about. He's been on assignment. He's been all over the place. He's been doing Club World Cup stuff. He's been doing some Gold Cup stuff. He's like, we don't have any merit on credential between the two of us, Justin. But to make up for that, Chuck just does everything else, all while wearing SEPTA-related shirts. So, Chuck, how are you doing after the gauntlet of soccer you've consumed over the last month or so?
Today it almost broke me. I'm lucky to even be on this podcast. I did not know if I would be able to record an hour ago, but luckily I'm here, even if I may. Actually I should say, luckily I at least enjoyed talking to you guys, even if we don't enjoy sometimes the subject matter that we have to cover on this podcast.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you're here, Chuck, and I'm also glad for our visual and an audio gimmick that you're not doing this from the bathroom floor.
No, that's a fair statement.
Well, and at least add not because of drinking.
Well, it's always a toss-up for everybody at home when one of us is like, I was really out of it yesterday. You never know.
Who knows why we're on the bathroom floor, Who knows?
It's never great.
All right. Well, to get to that subject matter that we've been avoiding, the Union went to Nashville and lost 1-0. Let me rephrase. The Union went to Nashville, and the referee decided to have them lose 1-0.
That's a much better way to break this down, because even if you told me that the Union went to Nashville and lost 1-0 in a relatively closely played game, like, can deal with it. The way that game was just ripped out from any chance of a point from under them, on the other hand, not so much.
Yes, and you could add several more qualifiers to that. The Union went to Nashville with several starters still missing. Several starters still injured.
Bariba still doesn't play full 90.
Bariba still can't play full 90. There's a whole lot of other things that you could put into that qualifying statement to be like, oh, 1-0 loss in Nashville. Oh well, but the way it happened, Evan, I loved your thought after the game. Your thought immediately after the game, I think, was that loss feels like 3 losses.
All right. Okay, no, to save us all some time, Justin, I want you to go back to last week's show when I said everyone's going to get tired of me talking about how I hate when we play Columbus. And I just want you to move that sentence, and I want you to find me saying, here, I'll even do it for you, Nashville. And I just want you to swap Columbus with Nashville. Done. That's it. I'm worried about Bruno Damiani not being able to head a ball into a corner. I am upset that I thought the pain of watching Jim Curtin coach a team up a man was past me, and it is not. I am begging the club to use one of their MLS Next Pro emergency call-ups on a Bosnian dual citizen. I am begging the team to reach out to a former Bosnian that played on this team, Zenon Kadic, because he might do better than Chris Donovan. And if anyone knows who Zenon Kadic is, well, good. Good for you. Because that's probably a name for the three of us and Zenon Kadic, who might be listening to this now that he's in the SLO. And that's it. Yeah, this might be the worst loss I think we've had in years. In part because we did the antagonizing Philly thing really, really well, and got the reward of having one of Nashville's players set off. But then I think Mukhtar gets a little bit of a Mukhtar call. Not that I don't think we should have VAR intervention, but I think if the referee on the field is that confident that it's not a penalty, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's a good place to start, unfortunately, because these are really where the issues with VAR run into, because there was contact. It was very slight, and it isn't necessarily contact that would be called a penalty every single time.
It is a outside of the box no call that turns into a penalty because of where it happened.
And just in situations like that, there really shouldn't be a reason to overturn the call on the field. Unfortunately, it's that's not even the worst call, because the worst call made by the referee, as Justin messaged about in the chat, was ending the game on a goddamn corner when you're up a man, have everyone forward, and generally, as long as the ball is not cleared, play continues on stoppages like that. But in this magical one, it ended. I'm also very mad at most of social media, because there's no reason after this game for Colin Sullivan takes to be flying around.
Chuck, he didn't score 3 goals in his debut. We thought he was going to Manchester City to start or something.
Yeah. A couple things that you guys said resonate with me. One is what Chuck said. I don't understand why the game ended when it did, because unless it wasn't a corner. If it was a goal kick, I'm fine with it ending there.
Yeah, of
but
course.
It sure as heck looked like a corner. And I think when the first minute and a half of stoppage time was spent watching a Nashville player writhe around on the ground, there's not a chance that shouldn't be, we shouldn't keep playing there. And so, I was a little bit frustrated with that. I was also very frustrated with the penalty call, and all of that. And I was very frustrated with the fact that we can't seem to play well when we're up a man.
At least for a good thing. Thank goodness that Andre Blake is back, because that would have been a 3-0 loss if he didn't play.
Yeah.
And the post helped us out once too.
The post is our views from the Brits Man of the Match, a thing that we've done every week. Yeah.
Because Kai Wagner also did smash the post himself.
Yeah. What's funny, though, to me is I think it was midweek last week, and I'm going to forget who it was against. Was it Red Bull? Minnesota United also had a gripe with how a game ended because they were mid-counter when the initial stoppage time allotment ended and the referee blew the whistle. I think it was Red Bull. So it's weird that there's been 2 incidents of that happening in a week, to the point where I wonder if in some kind of off-season meeting or what have you, they're going to try to add a little bit more clarification as far as, game-ending scenarios. Because I know it's not really none of it's a rigid rulebook sort of thing. But there's at least sort of general consensus on, 30 seconds for a goal or whatever, just from celebrations, everyone getting back. And there doesn't seem to be any sort of use your best discretion, but if this is happening, maybe see it out to the letter. and it's interesting that it's burned 2 teams in the same week. Especially on a corner, it feels very weird, like you said, Justin. If it's a goal kick, end the game all you want there. I know that Joe Willis, or whoever the goalkeeper is for Nashville now, is just going to kick that ball 900 yards. So I don't need to see him do that. But if it's a corner, at least let the opposing team take it in and maybe have another crack at it until the ball gets cleared close to that halfway line. But
And what's crazy about that is there's so many games that are whistled on a goal kick that it's like they let them set up for the goal kick, and then the ball is
and take it.
65 yards in the air, and then they blow the
Yeah.
whistle, and it's like,
It's like
but we can't do
he's
a
not going to
corner
kick
kick?
it back into his own net. I promise. Like it's he's going to
And
hit it pretty far.
to your point, Evan, if you want to throw the other one, very much the right decision. But if you want to throw the other one in there that happened this week, in Seattle and Columbus ending
Oh my God, that's
5 minutes before the game was over, because
Yeah.
both coaches said end the game, and the ref goes, "Oh, all right, we'll end the game." And it's like very much the right decision. I'm not blaming the ref in any way, shape, or form there, but I'm just saying the refs should have the discretion to, hey, if there's this traumatic injury in the middle of
right.
stoppage time of the second half, like, yeah, just end the game. But like, if you have a team that's attacking and they still have possession and they're still attacking, let it happen, please. Just let it happen.
See what happens.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. So bitter on that front for sure. I mean, it's funny looking at the table still because we're so far ahead of where anybody thought we were going to be that it's. I don't want to say nitpicking because there is like legitimate frustrations. Like I'm sorry, I'm going to keep harping on this, but I think he's like 25 now, so he's a grown adult. Chris Donovan should be in a mid-table USL championship team, and I think that's his ceiling. Bruno Damiani might be one of those guys where the acclimation period to the league itself is not what we wanted it to be, but it's going to be more like a full year. And I need Ian Glavinovich to stop posting Instagram stories on either side of us recording because I don't know what only the good ones are coming back means, but he posted something. And I mean, I would love it for him to come back and kind of bolster the center line or play up top, Aaron Wheeler. But I need him to. I need to stop speculating about Argentinian posting Instagram stories about the soccer team. I'm cool with like the F1 yerba mate stuff. That's fine. But the soccer stuff, I need to just stop happening, please.
Yeah, no, that was a weird one because we do need a center back. But it's the Damiani thing is really frustrating right now. Just because even when he was signed, it was like, okay, like some good things are there, but oh wait, all of this guy's goals came from penalties. What's the deal here? And we're seeing from open play that really fun but really frustrating. He takes gets in the right positions and takes shots, but they're not going in the net. And every time that it seemed like it's going to turn, it hasn't. And this team doesn't have enough strikers, as seen by Chris Donovan, for someone who is a presumed starter to not be contributing. And like, you can see how tight the standings are. It is very easy. I wouldn't say for them to like slip down and be out of the playoff race. Like this probably is a playoff team now. It is very easy for them to slip down and not get a home game, which means they get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not done with this game yet, but I think, and I want to come back to a couple things you guys said, but looking at the next, 4 games for this team in the league, you have the 8th place team in the East, you have the 8th and 9th place teams in the West, and you have the last place team in the East. There's a good opportunity over these next 4 games before, the fake game against Eintracht. There's a good opportunity to pick up some points over the next 4 games without necessarily needing to put your best performances forward. I mean, I would think, I can't guarantee we're going to win both games again. We should, but I can't guarantee we're going to win both games against the Red Bulls, but you would think like we get at least one of them, hopefully.
Yeah. Well,
and then
you only need to win one.
Yes, you only need to win one.
One
but it would
game
be nice
is very
to win both.
important. Yes.
Yes.
But it will
But
be...
I was trying to set Wednesday's game aside for the moment. But I think, if you win the game on the weekend, and then you go into these next 4, and you would have to think there's very few teams who lose to Montreal at this point. So you would have to think we get some points against Montreal. You would have to think we would probably get, between Houston and Colorado, 4 points should be the minimum. So
Colorado are weirdly kind of in the same boat that we are, but they're coached by Chris Armas, so their tactics aren't that great. Where they would look a lot better if they had a actual DP striker, not just some guy that they paid good money to masquerading like one, and Rafael Navajo. But that sounds pretty familiar for us, where on our end, it's, well, the club never paid money for anybody, and now they go, we have a striker. And we go, oh my God. Oh, well, they did it. And now it's like, and he can't finish from open play. And you're like, well, what the fuck? Okay. That's not really what we wanted, but we're here. We just don't have, like, I don't know, Zach Steffen and Jordi Mihalovic to, like, get some, you like the men's national team, right? Come see this team play, gate sale. And then, yeah, Red Bull, I would love to win the Open Cup game. I don't really care about the other.
Yeah, well, it'll just be nice to have Quinn Sullivan back.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because...
Man, I hate the gold. I hate any of these mid-season tournaments.
Yes, but just like these people masquerading as wingers right now, it's just not going very well. And like,
I'm gonna defend somebody, and I'm gonna defend somebody, and it's unpopular in an opinion here, because I read the boards, but I don't participate in them because I value my mental health. Indiana Vasilev is not a big problem on this team, y'all. He just doesn't care where he plays, so he plays everywhere. He's perfectly fine. Yes, I wish he could pass more, but we've been saying that about Leon Flock, and he never figured it out either, and he was perfectly fine. And they're both relatively conventionally attractive, so it's a net neutral. It all cancels.
That's not the problem. The problem is when no one is passing, because even like, I understand taking the flyer on Ben Bender. He's not a winger.
No.
Like, why is he playing wide when he comes in? And so,
you know what?
when you have,
I thought he looked perfectly fine actually against that.
But like, when you have him and Indiana Vasilev and Chris Donovan is in the lineup at striker, there are just like way too many places for an attack to go to die. And yes, even with all of that, this team still should have beaten Nashville, which just says so much about how frustrating that game was. But with Quinn Sullivan, you presume there's a goal somewhere in there.
There's at least a pass to a chance.
I think Vasilev, the problem with Vasilev is Vasilev can't be your like key creator or key player on either wing, and it's too easy to take him out of the game when teams can key in. And so I think Nashville, in this game against Nashville, it's the right side of the field was fairly ineffective with Sullivan and Bizo. And so Nashville could pretty much just key in on the left hand side of the field with, Wagner and Vasilev, and really kind of like take away the dangerous side of the field. And so I think Vasilev looks a lot better when he's on the right with either Westfield or Harriel behind him, who are a little bit more dangerous. And then with Wagner and Sullivan on the other side of the field, then Vasilev has there's a lot less pressure on him to create and do something. And so I think he looks better with that formation. I just think when he has to be the key contributor, which he kind of did in this game, it does not work as well. But I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's not the person you could build an attack around.
You need guys like that on your team, and he's a glue guy, and by all accounts, like lovely human, like all that stuff that you need. But like, in the same way that I think teams can and should be able to recall players from loan if they do not get playing time. If you call up one of my club players to your national team and then don't even bother, give them back. I'm sorry the calendar screwed you up, and now I'm playing regular season games during your cute little tournament, which, unpopular opinion here, thank God the men's national team lost. But like, if you're not even going to try to use my guys, I need them more than you do at that point. Because that's like ridiculous. And I mean, yes, I was the first person to champion, if they get call-ups, let them go and have that experience. But if they don't see a blade of grass on the B team, where we now have Diego Luna being the God amongst men for this whole team because he actually cares, then send him back to the club team. Because you're never going to use Nate Harriel at fullback in the World Cup or the Leagues Cup or whatever the 900 cups that we're suddenly playing in CONCACAF. Just give him back. Because he would have had about 4 assists in this stretch at this.
The challenge for Harriel in this national team setup was Freeman had a fantastic tournament, playing behind someone who was largely ineffective in Berhalter. But it was I can't blame I can't blame Pochettino for not putting Harriel on the field for this tournament. But I would agree with you. If you're not going to use him, send him back. But they didn't really have another right back on the roster either. So
Chuck, do you have thoughts on any Russell that tournament, for better or worse?
I don't even want to talk about the U.S. men's national team. I'm unfortunately working on a World Cup roster prediction, and it is the most depressing thing ever because
I'm going to give you the first name on that team, Seb Berholt.
So what's annoying is the fact that he is in the prediction. I don't want him to be in the prediction.
No,
he's
but
in
I mean,
not a chance.
I can't make a 23-man squad. I literally had to send it to another one of our writers after I came up with 21 people and was like, I'm not forgetting anyone major here, right? Because I don't actually have 23 people that I want to call up to the U.S. men's national team.
Hey, Chuck, what's weird is the U.S. men's national team doesn't have 23 people that want to be called up to the men's national team.
No, I mean, I'm totally fine with Pulisic taking the summer off. Like, I mean,
what about Mark? What if Mark did something with what if his dad filled it? No.
Chuck, here's your idea of how you fill out that roster, right? 5 goalkeepers.
Yeah. Wait, Chuck, can I ask you a really important question?
We don't have 5 goalkeepers we're taking.
Wait. No, I need
you do if you take Andrew Rick.
Oh God. Well, no, wait, hold on. I don't mean to spoil Chuck's entire article. Is Ethan Horvath in your short list?
God, no.
Well, then there's a guy you missed, man. That's
not. No. No, we're
No,
not doing
not
this.
a person that you wanted to be in the team, but he's gonna be.
No, he won't, because Matt Freese already became the penalty keeper.
Yeah, but we're sending 5. Justin and I want 5 goalkeepers, and he's one of them.
Unfortunately,
Anyway, so the Union play Red Bull in Open
he's going to
Cup.
be the
Speaking of
only
U.S.
Union
soccer
product
thing.
on
No,
it.
no, I'm not done with Nashville yet. I have one more comment that
Oh,
I need to
okay,
come
all right.
back to.
Well, sorry, that's fine. I just wanted to try to bridge you away from Pochettino.
I appreciate that. Here's my comment, and it was something that you said, Evan, earlier, because I think it is true, and I said it earlier in the season on somebody else's podcast. The younger Sullivan brother is he's being talked about in the wrong way, in my opinion. And it comes to your feeling of like, I think everybody expects him to come in and be a world changer. The dude is 15. He is 15 years old. Like, I don't care how good the kid is at soccer. He's still a boy playing among men. And like if he's still doing what he did yesterday or the other day playing Nashville at 17, I'm going to have a problem, and Manchester City probably won't be coming calling. But he's 15. And I just want it to stop.
It will not. I have kind of like sentence that's going to be half joke about why that always happens, and then I have deeper lying thought about I think how kind of like, all right, here, half joke. We haven't been able to like appropriately set expectations for a 15-year-old ever. And that goes back all the way to Freddie Adu, and it's not his. We've eradicated the demon of that all happening, but it is still very much. We are just hoping, beyond hope, for somebody before the age of like 34 from this country to go to a big stage and light the world on fire, for no apparent reason, actually. Like, it's never been explained to me why we needed Freddie Adu to become the darling of the soccer world, and I don't get why Kevin Sullivan has to score 800 goals now before he goes to the best club in England and maybe all the world in the last decade to ply his craft. Not even touching that he will not play for Manchester City. That could be a full stop. Or if he does, it'll be 5 or 6 years from now. The other thing is I think
6,
people...
maybe 10.
Well, 10? Yeah, again, that's me forgetting that he's 15. And then I think the other thing is that, and this is where I get to glaze myself, as the kids would say, the three of us have watched every big prospect in this club's history almost at this point come through an academy system, develop, and then turn into something else. What you are looking for in a soccer player when they are a 16-year-old boy who wants to go to junior prom and when they're a 24-year-old man are two completely different products. So I'm not looking for Kevin Sullivan to come in off the field at 15 and immediately take over the game and look like he's the next coming of Ronaldo, any of them, or Maradona, one of them. And I just think it's this weird people don't know ball, to use that sentence once and then burn into fire, because we're trying to make him like will the Union to an MLS Cup, and that's no one's goal for him. We are doing a good enough job at developing this player that Manchester City, are like not actively being like, we're going to take him now. And that's all that matters, because that means we keep getting looks from European clubs. Chuck, please, by all means.
Well, I just mean that in a world where Lamine Yamal exists, everything is just broken. And we've seen soccer players doing more younger now than ever. Most of them are still doing that at 18, which is a very big difference between where Kevin Sullivan is now. And like, it is important to have perspective there, especially considering that this was his first start for the Union. Like, he has come off the bench, and like, it was away from home in a tough environment. Like, there really shouldn't be a surprise that he did struggle. But like, these are experiences that he's going to learn from and come out a better player.
This is big. adults that are going to bully him. He got a lot of, they mentioned it in the broadcast, he got a lot of welcome to MLS shoves and things, and he just took it on the chin.
Yeah, and my thing is, even when he comes off the bench, like there's so many times this season where, you know, the broadcast is happening, the game is happening, the game's still like hanging in the balance, and then these announcers start talking like, "Oh, come on, Sullivan's still sitting on the bench, and is he gonna come on and change the game?" and blah blah blah. No one expects him to do that, other than these announcers who are like, "Well, he's gonna come on and he's gonna change the game and all this kind of stuff." And it's frustrating when some of those games where he's sitting on the bench, right next to him on the bench is Mikel Ure. And it's like, no, we expect Mikel Ure to come on and score a goal when we're down a goal.
Do we?
I mean, that's
In
the
in
expectation.
an
Is he
ideal
doing
world,
most
that
of
is
the
a
time?
thing
No.
that he is supposed to be able to do, yeah.
But it's like when you talk about the Union substitutions and how the Union use substitutions and who they bring on to make a difference in the game, it's, hey, we bring on Bedoya to make a difference in the game. We bring on Ure to make a difference. Ure or Bariba or Damiani, whoever didn't get the start. We bring on one of them to make a difference in the game. We sub out Westfield and put on, you know, Harriel for fresh legs and expect him, you know, these are the kind of things that, like, those are the ones we go, hey, that's going to make a difference in the outcome of this game. Sullivan is not one of them. It's like when we get him on, it's like these are good minutes, no matter when they happen in the game.
Yep. If to maybe be the more productive and polite version of myself from my previous rant, if you want to watch Kevin Sullivan play the way that people are expecting him to play in MLS, go. And for many other reasons, Eddie Davis, Malik Jakupovic, so many. Nick Periano looks very good. I don't know why I sounded so surprised at that. I'm sorry, Nick, but go watch the second team because they're showing the gap that we have between where our academy and our pipeline is and where just about everybody else's is, and that's why everyone's really envious of the Union, is because a lot of these two teams in MLS Next Pro don't have it like this, where you can have pretty much any of the first 11 and the second team, I think, right now could show up and do a 30-minute spot for the first team, and you wouldn't look that out of place. But Kevin Sullivan's banging in free kicks and whatever the fuck else he wants to do for the rest of his life in MLS Next Pro. So go look at that, I guess.
Yeah.
No, this one game is an indictment on everything that he will ever do
Right,
in his
sorry,
career.
God, I forgot. We're supposed to overreact. Hey, did you know that New York Red Bulls get 50% of our 10% that we're getting from Houston for Jack McLean when he sells to Feyenoord for $325 million next week? Okay.
$325
there we go.
million. Yep. Wow.
That's the number it's going to be, Justin. The market's moving.
The market is
Everyone's going to be worth $1 billion in 5 years, and the Union are going to finally be able to afford a $5 million forward who will score 4 goals from open play in 5 seasons. Close enough. Welcome back, Fernando Aristigue.
The summer transfer window is opening soon. They do really need one of those, because wouldn't it be great to be in an Open Cup final and have a forward that can actually win you that final
and win on penalty?
I don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me for Union penalty shootouts.
No.
Then I have terrible news. Actually, then don't watch the second team, because I have terrible news about what happens when there's a draw.
See, that's fine though. They're learning how to not repeat the awful
how to break your heart in an Open Cup final. They're absolutely setting us up to finally buy in, and then we just get obliterated. And I start making cassette tapes and having my ex-boyfriend follow me around for 13 years.
That is some doom spiral.
Yeah, that show started out really bad and just kept getting worse, which is... I mean, they're basically... It's like the Kevin Sullivan of this year. You're like, juice?
No, I don't expect that. I actually don't. I don't. I love to watch him play. I just don't expect anything. I actually just don't. I'm like, if you can hold down a wing and not look terrible and not get overrun, I'm good with that. Do that, and I'm good. I'm happy.
I mean, also, like I said at the beginning of the season, if Kevin Sullivan plays 1,000 minutes for this team, that's awful.
How close are we getting to that? No, you're not that far in MLS. In MLS play, we're not actually close. I don't think. But if you would include,
if
you'd include Open Cup,
I don't even think we're that close now.
Yeah, because he's not going to start another Open Cup game, right?
We got 120 minutes in the one he started, so
yeah, but even
No,
I think
but I mean-
he only has like what, maybe 100 MLS minutes.
well, he has 60 from this past game, so he has to have more than that. 70 from this past game, so he's got to have more than that.
So I mean, he probably has like 240 minutes.
So where are the minutes? Actually, why do you not have totals here? Nope. So he has 100.
That's what you get for trying to do research. I don't know what the
only 160. Well, yeah, I guess he's getting 10 minutes at a time. Okay, that makes sense.
We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, because he has that. He got 60 in the start as a 45-minute appearance and a 29-minute appearance.
Yeah. Okay.
How many minutes does he have? Doomsday Clock is looking pretty.
Hopefully,
not that.
All right. So the Union do play what is now tomorrow evening. They play Red Bull twice in 4 days. I don't know what you guys are expecting. I would like 2 wins, but I don't know what you guys are expecting.
Win in the Open Cup and then whatever in the MLS.
Yeah, I mean, I would also like 2 wins, but it's just like if you're only going to win one, win the one that puts you a step closer to a trophy now and not another knockout competition for a trophy.
That's true. Don't do like you said, Chuck, though, I don't want a penalty shootout. I cannot take a penalty shootout tomorrow night.
Can you imagine the collective? We would all be on anti-anxiety medication like in a heartbeat the next day.
Yeah, I mean, I walk out of the room during Union penalty shootouts.
Yeah,
seeing enough bad ones in person, I don't need them on TV.
See ya. I'll look in 10 minutes to see who won.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I can just... Yeah. No.
But real talk, the propensity of former Union keepers, former Andre Blake backups to win penalty shootouts is ridiculous.
I think everyone did a little... When Crapo went down for LAFC during the MLS Cup final, terrible thing that happened to him. And then it was like, oh, John McCarthy went to penalties. I'm like, oh, wait, no, I know how this sounds. Or no, sorry, it didn't. It was John McCarthy comes in, and then I keep blacking out and forgetting that Gareth Bale just was like, no, you can't have nice things. I'm retired. And I have a vendetta against...
Yeah. But it's like that, and then, Matt Freese steps up on the American stage and wins a penalty shootout there, was saving
we taught him everything.
Shots. And then, but somehow Andre Blake, the starting keeper, can't win them.
He can't be amazing at everything. Then
it's
he
true.
Wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
He would be Keylor Navas if he was amazing at everything.
Yeah, $325 million to fine Andre Blake. It's the
I
number
like
of
this
club.
number. Just 325 million.
325. Well, it's okay. So it's 105, but with incentives, it can climb to 320, and it's all in.
Meanwhile, Florian Wirtz is only worth, I don't know, what was it, 107 million, 108 million?
Yeah, I mean,
no, it's like I thought wasn't it 170?
No, it might have been $170. In dollars, it might have been 170 because it was very close to the Caicedo number, and Caicedo was 115 euros.
Well, yeah, I guess
36
so total. Yeah, up to 116 pounds, which is $157 billion.
Billion. $157 billion.
I thought it said million. Hey,
I don't know what you said.
It's been a day.
I'm artificially inflating the market by proposing that Feyenoord has $325 million multiple times over to spend on the best and brightest for MLS. I can't blame Chuck. It's
all right. Final. We'll record again after these Red Bull games, but how many quote unquote points are we getting against Red Bull? I say 6. I think we do the double.
6 would be so cool. I think their attack is really good, but the rest of their team is fraudulent because they put all their money into what's his name and the other guy. Emil Forsberg, right? Is that right? Yeah, that was a Danny Olmo, but we're not quite. And then Chupa Prince Motek. So those two guys are where all their money is. So they don't have defense or a goalkeeper. Well, I mean, Carlos Cornell. Speaking of ex-Union keep, actually, shit, we're gonna lose the Open Cup game. Never mind, I figured it out.
No, we're not.
It's another ex-Union goal. So
it's not going to go to a shootout, so it doesn't matter. It's not going to go to a shootout.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you might be right. You might.
Yeah, no, I mean, this game absolutely can. This game absolutely cannot go to a shootout. Like, good lord, please,
Literally.
no. Like, because it's just especially like it's one thing going to a shootout. It's a completely another thing going to a shootout against the Rebels. Like, just no. Just because I partially also just don't want to jinx this. I'm gonna say 4 because I mean I do think that they win one, but beating a team 2 times in a week is just really hard to do. I mean, beating a team 2 times in 2 weeks is really hard to do, as we've seen by the fuckery that the schedule has thrown the Union this year. And you just have to throw everything you have at this Open Cup game anyway. So who knows who will even be available for the weekend.
Yeah. Speaking of scheduling issues, we do play Red Bulls again in a month. So we have 3 games in literally a month and 5 days or something like that against this team.
It's like a month-long family reunion with all the ties to the Red Bull football operations we have. They were like, you guys all like each other.
Luckily, after that, it's all just single games that teams we played earlier this season. So that's good.
Well, that's good.
All right. Well, that's what we think. Let us know what you think at VFTB Pod, wherever you find us on the internet. And we'll be back next week after these Red Bull games to talk about what we're going to do against Montreal. Because that's a fun. We're going to have a great show next week talking about Montreal.
No, well, we are going to have a great show because we're going to talk about fun games that aren't Montreal.
We'll be so focused on the fun games that we won't have time to talk about them.
You know, those really fun New York Red Bulls.